Sunday the 2nd of October. Yep, October already. But you'd hardly tell that from the weather. Absolutely glorious day today. Expected to be about 29 degrees C, which is highly unusual this time of year. An Indian summer, no less. Today I've come down to probably the only seaside walk that I've yet to do in either book 1, 2 or the 3 walks, and that is a combination of 2 walks actually. Walk 58, Clacton-on-Sea to Walton-on-the-Naze, and walk 98 I think it is, Walton-on-the-Naze circular. They're each 7 miles approximately, so I'm going to combine them today and hopefully complete them both to make a grand circuit of 14 miles along the East Anglian coastline down here in Essex. As I say, cracking day. Filming from outside the station because I couldn't film inside. Too many station staff around unusually. So it's now about 11:15. Gets dark now about 7:15, so plenty of time to finish this off, I believe. Let's press on. So just completed 600 meters and hit the coast path, and the first thing I see, apart from this beautiful sheen on the sea, is those ugly wind turbines.
Okay, so you keep on walking down.
Absolutely outrageous. Can't understand why the Labour government invested in them. Complete waste of time. Lip service, as I've said before. Call me a Luddite, but they do spoil the skyline. Anyway, having whinged about that, no doubt there'll be plenty more on my right as I'm walking north-easterly in that direction towards Walton. Tide is on its way in, turning, and high tide at Stone Point Way is around 3, so I don't think I'm going to be able to get right up there today, unfortunately, but see how we get on. Looking back towards firstly Gunfleet Sailing Club and the beach huts. And looking ahead towards Holland-on-sea. Not only is it very warm today, but it's very still, so incredibly nice. Unsure what that red-tipped plant is up there, but adds a nice splash of colour to the bank. Okay, that's the last calf before we hit Walton-on-Sea, and that calf closes today. Little notice on the front of the shop saying that she's closing down for the rest of the year. Now interestingly, there's a distance marker there. 3 miles I've done to Clacton apparently. That's not bad because it's just under an hour, 50 minutes that's taken me. So we're doing a good 3 mile an hour plus pace. Well, it's easy walking, isn't it? Level on concrete, which is none too good for my hip though. And there's the radar mast. So I think hereafter it gets less commercial. Soon find out. So bear that in mind. Once past the radio mast, as I expected, it gets less busy. Glorious Mediterranean type climate today. There is said radio mast. View across Holland Haven. Just for a change, a little inland view, this time of Holland Haven Country Park. There won't be much to film inland on this walk because it's so built up, so a little bit of respite there. Masses of swallows gathering together over there in that greenery, not sure why. Okay, on the fringes of Walton already, and I can see ahead, and I wasn't aware of this, it seems to be far more popular than Clacton now. Look at all those bodies. Jesus. Looking back along the defence wall and across the golf course. Looking back at a massive row of beach huts. And just over here on my right, the first thatched toilets I've ever seen, which I will avail myself of. So as I said earlier, far more popular than Clacton. Interesting. Don't recall having been to Walton before, but clearly a very busy seaside resort, even in October. We stop off for lunch here shortly. In fact, looking at the map, I now realise that this is Frinton and not Walton, so let's correct that error. Full of Essex boys and girls, nouveau riche showing off their money, particularly those guys out on the powercraft. And even up in the air. Looking back along Frinton's very sandy beach. Nice little bay actually. And very busy on this second day of October. Now looking ahead to Walton, which hasn't got the bay that Frinton has, and therefore no beach. It's got this long pier with a lifeboat station out there. Okay, 2.5 hours later, 1:45, and I've reached central Walton-on-the-Naze, and this will be today's lunchtime view. I think there are worse ones, but would have preferred it a bit quieter, but there you go. Anyway, that's the end of walk 52. Clacton to Walton-on-the-Naze, and because the video is so far not very long, it makes sense to combine the video now with walk 98, Walton-on-the-Naze circular, which should provide more views and thus make a longer video. Not sure how that will sit on the Saturday Walkers Club website though. Okay, about 2:30 now. and I'm walking away from Walton, and as you can see there in the distance, there's the I'm following the beach route at the moment, even though the tide's high, but I will work my way up because I don't want to get to a point where I can't get round because of the high tide. Anyway, that's the tower with the calf there. Okay, so here's the Naze Tower. Not sure about the history behind this, but I'm sure you can Google it. Apparently it's now an art gallery, viewing platform and tea room amongst other things. Although having said that, there's a tea room over there as well, and toilets. Now up on the cliff, which is rapidly eroding, as you can see just there. And in the very far distance, you can just make out the port of Harwich with its massive cranes. Evidence here of the collapse. And a recently built defence system to protect it from further collapse. Incredible stuff, really. Power of nature. And that tower's only a few metres back. So as I head north towards Stone Point, scenery changes somewhat. Actually got some woodland here. Pleasant respite from the heat, really. So about 15 foot beneath me is the beach route. The tide is pretty high now as well, so it is possible to walk along the beach. So I'm guessing this is Stone Point. This would appear to be as far north as I can get. Harwich over there in the distance. So I'm going to take a left here and walk around the reserve. Can't really get lost because you've always got that tower in the distance there, up on the hill. Evidence here with this dried up lagoon of how little rain we've had. Anyway, it won't be long before that's full up again. Get the old autumn high tides coming in. Of course, this isn't Stone Point because that's out in the sea somewhere at the minute, under a couple of metres of water. I'm still on the Naze here, but at the most northerly point. It is in fact Hamford Water NNR, managed by Natural England. Wind's picking up, might have to get the old canceller on. Terrible stench has just wafted across. Wind blows the sewerage farm smell right across here. Anyway, it would appear that it is possible to get to Stone Point if you so wish. Just seen people walking along that footpath over there. Not much in the way of bird life about at the moment, but there is a big flock of geese over there. I think they're Canadas. Okay, that would be Stone Point over there. I'm now on the very corner of the Naze on the map, overlooking Walton Channel, which is this. Just on my right is the collection of islets that make up Stone Point. And this path ahead of me is my return journey back to the tower there in the distance. Now I've got a closer view of those geese. I think they're actually Brent. But apart from them and one little egret that I saw a moment ago, following on from last week's viewing, not much else about. A few other bits and pieces over there. Unsure what that is. Looks like a flycatcher type. Because of the shadows I can't make out any colourings. It's definitely in warning mode. Nope. Beats me. One I'll have to look up. Delightful afternoon. Final glimpse of Walton Channel before I hit the B road. And that's the Naze, with the tower always visible. 4 o'clock. Passing the old lifeboat house. The Arsenal game's just about to kick off as well. Fingers crossed for that. Not optimistic though. Okay, 4:45. Just missed the 4:30 train back. They're 1 hour, but not to worry. Finished with plenty of time anyway. That was a delightful walk. Mainly thanks to the weather. Wouldn't particularly want to do it in bleakest November or February, but thanks to the weather today, made it very pleasant. I question whether I've done 14 miles today, particularly in the time that I finished. I mean 11:15 plus 4, quarter past 4 hour walk, you know, so on that basis I've done about 11. And what I did was walk up to the Naze and done the circuit around that nature reserve. I think it's best done as a combination because the pair of them are not long enough on their own to make a decent walk, in my opinion. So I've combined them and that's worked out very well. So now just a question of waiting for the next train and hoping that Arsenal can equalise, seeing as Van der Vaart's just put Tottenham ahead just before half time as well. Bad news. One final glimpse of the Station nameplate.